Hello, hello, and welcome back to my channel Creative Minds with Emily Eva Makes. I'm Emily, and you can find me as Emily Eva Makes on Instagram and Ravelry. Thank you, first of all, thank you to everybody for all of your support and your lovely comments. I didn't say it on the last video because I actually recorded the last video the same day that I put out the first episode, so I didn't know how many people were going to watch and everything, but I've had so many views already and so many lovely comments and stuff, so thank you so much. It really feels like this was a good idea. It was worth doing, so thank you. And it seems so far that the mix of talking about mental health and creative things is going down quite well, but we shall see how that develops, because I can see this easily turning into a knitting podcast. It's not supposed to be, as I keep saying, but we'll see. Last week I didn't show any knitting, so that was good. But this time I'm not going to show what I'm doing. I'm going to go through some old projects that I have finished. I'm not entirely sure how to show you without taking things on and off every 2 minutes, but I'll give it a go and see what I can do. And this week, I'm not really sure how to include the mental health side of it. I haven't got anything in particular to tell you about the past week. The paranoia from the week before did continue slightly, but only one day, I think. And then it's gone away again, and I'm fine now. As I say, I think it was hormones. I don't know. So yeah, this week has actually been all right, I think. Nothing in particular, no particular problems. I've been very tired, but that's kind of normal. So I'm not entirely sure how to include the mental health side in this, but I am going to talk a little bit about the memories that are kind of almost woven into the projects that you make. What I think of every time I wear these and make these things. I thought about doing this today because the weather is changing so quickly. I'm starting to think maybe it's time to put all the winter stuff away, all my lovely knitted sweaters. They need to go away and get out some more summery clothes, because it's getting so warm already. But I'm not sure if it's quite time to do it yet, because I think it might go back down again and then back up. I don't know. But for the moment, every time I open my wardrobe, I just see all these lovely sweaters and I think, nope, can't wear any of them. It's too much. I can just about get away with this one because it's short sleeves, and it's quite cropped. But a lot of the other things I have in the wardrobe I can't wear at the moment. So I thought now is probably a good time to show you what I've got before I put them all away. So, well, I suppose I should show you what I'm wearing first. This little cropped top is by my designer friend in New York, Cardinale. And I've used lots of different yarns here. As you can see, we've done the mild effect. Can't remember the name of this pattern. I think it was House of Lark, because I think it was one of his first sweater designs. I'm not sure. Anyway, we became good friends because I did lots of test knitting for him, and this was a test knit actually. It's meant to be longer than this, but I didn't have a huge amount of yarn, so I decided to go for a cropped version, and he quite liked it, so that's good. The only thing about this is the neck. I don't like when the neck kind of sits right here on my throat, but I'm not sure how to fix that. This has happened with quite a few sweaters that I've got. I don't know whether I need more stitches here at the shoulder and start the neck lower down maybe, because it has got short rows at the back. So it shouldn't really do that so much. I don't know why it does, but anyway, it's not too uncomfortable. I quite like it. So this is perfect for this kind of weather, this sort of crop top and short sleeves. And I love the little details he's got on the sleeves here. We've got this ribbing, but then here you've got a little detail, a little kind of arrow triangle in the corner, which is actually meant to be on the outside of the elbow, but I did it wrong. And I quite like it, so it stayed that way. I did the same on the other side, I believe. Yeah, got my little triangle on the inside, but whatever, it still works, it's still fine. So yeah, this is what I'm wearing at the moment. And then I wanted to show you my first ever, well, technically it's not my first ever sweater. My first sweater I don't have anymore. I don't remember what I did with it, whether I gave it away. I don't know. But the first sweater I ever tried to do was before I'd discovered this whole world of podcasts and videos and stuff on YouTube. And although I'd done a lot of knitting, I hadn't really learned about all the different techniques and how to do gauge swatches and the importance of doing a gauge swatch and all of that. So I just found a pattern, and I was still working on straight needles, and I just did this rib sweater. I had no idea which size I was supposed to be following. I didn't really know what I was doing. I used a horrible acrylic yarn that I later hated. I didn't like working with it, and I didn't like wearing the finished thing afterwards. It didn't fit properly. It was all wrong. So I don't have that anymore. And as I say, I don't remember what I did with it. I think I may have given it away. I don't know. But my first, I like to call it my first sweater. The first sweater that I did once I'd actually learned what I was doing, and did a gauge swatch and everything, and got nice wools and stuff, was the Flax by Tinka, which I first saw on Nella's podcast, Knitter Tejer, Marina Legalo. And this is my Flax by Tinka, which has lovely ribbed detail down both sleeves. And then it's just a simple raglan. You can see that it's huge. This is not because I didn't do a gauge. I did do a gauge swatch. This is actually because it was meant to be oversized when I did it, and I've lost a lot of weight since then. So although like the shoulders kind of still fit, when I put it on, the neck kind of sits like that. It tends to go off one shoulder a little bit. But I love it. This is such a simple thing to knit, and it was a lot of fun. And I did it with one of the Drops wools. I can't remember exactly the name, but I know it had alpaca in it. It might just be called Drops Alpaca, I can't remember. But anyway, this beautiful blue colour, and this is still my favourite sweater. I absolutely love it. I can remember sitting and knitting on it at my dad's house in Manchester. I went back to visit one year. So it reminds me of that time and being with them. And also, I'm just proud of it because it's the first one I did that actually really fit, and I can use it all the time. These days, I probably don't wear it out very often. It's normally just for lounging around the house because it's so big and baggy. But I still absolutely love it. And then I don't know if I can go in order because I don't know in what order I did these things. But that's my first one that I'm really proud of and that I still absolutely love. And a lot of the others, although I have done gauge swatches and I have tried to do the measurements and make everything fit properly, for one reason or another, I just feel like I haven't quite got the fit right. And usually it's kind of baggy here, so maybe I need to do fewer increases before I split for the sleeves. But then I don't want this. I don't want the armhole to be too short or the yoke depth to be too short. So I don't really know how to fix that. And sometimes I don't like the collar as well. Another one that has a lot of memories is the Tourist Sweater by Jorge Locatelli, which I don't know. The pattern was written for Malabrigo, and I use Malabrigo, so it should be fine. But this is just pilled like crazy. I mean, look at that. All these little bubbles all over it. And I keep trying to sort it out, to fix it. I have a Gleaner, one of the little travel ones, and I keep trying to fix it, and it just doesn't do much. Again, this is now a little bit too big for me. And this collar is probably a bit too wide now, so it doesn't quite sit the way I want it to sit where I'm wearing it. But it is nice and cozy and very warm. I could probably have done with doing the sleeves a little bit longer. Look at this. That's terrible. I really need to glean it again. Anyway, can't be worn at the moment. But yeah, the sleeves seemed fine as I was knitting them, and again I thought, when you block it, it's going to stretch a little bit more as well, and when you start wearing it, it'll stretch a bit more. But no, if anything, they've kind of bounced back more than I expected, so I could have done the sleeves a little bit longer, but never mind. So that's the Tourist Sweater, which has a lovely pocket at the bottom. Big long pocket like on a hoodie with some buttons on the side. So I do actually really like this sweater. And again, it's got some nice memories. I remember being at a friend's house, I think pre-pandemic, but only just, going around for drinks and having a nice chat, and I was sat there knitting away and desperately trying to finish. I was on the last sleeve, desperately trying to finish. I remember binding off there in the kitchen, and they were like, "What? Done? What's happening?" Because they hadn't seen that kind of thing before. They were like, "I don't understand how you're doing it. How have you done that? And how is it done now? What's going on?" So that was really fun. Yeah, so I've got that. And then one of my favourites is this one. Big chunky thing. This was made with Uru.Yarn Chonk. It's one of the Knit Crate yarns, because for a while I was subscribed to Knit Crate, and they sent this beautiful chunky yarn in this lovely kind of grey colour. And so I actually went and bought a bit more so I could do a big sweater in it, because it was just beautiful. Really, really nice. This also pills a little bit, but it's not as obvious as on the tourist sweater. I might put this one on actually. This one, I put a little wooden tag at the bottom that says handmade, just so I know which side is the front, because otherwise I would have no idea which side is the front. Hold on. So again, a little bit too big for me, but it's not actually that much too big. It's got a nice amount of positive ease actually. The sleeves are a little bit baggy, but it's fine, and I just love this. It's so comfy and warm. The only thing I don't like is this in the collar. I don't know how to fix that. I keep trying to kind of push it up and fold the collar in a different way, but it always just ends up sagging back down again. And again, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why that happens. I don't know how I would fix it. Again, I think I've got too many stitches across the front here, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, I love this sweater, and this is by an Italian designer, Dario Tubiani, I think his name is. But I could never remember the name of the sweater. Don't know. I'll have to look. Anyway, all of my projects are on Ravelry, so if you want to know any more information and if I made any modifications, which I don't think I did with this one, it's all on Ravelry, so you can go and find it there. So that's my tourist sweater, and that, I don't know, I wanted to talk about memories with all of these things. I don't really have great memories of that one. I mean, anything in particularly strong memories, but it's just every time I put it on, I just feel really cozy. I love it. So it is one of my favorites, definitely. I end up wearing it every day. I have to stop a little bit. What else have I got? Let's show you this one. This is a Stephen West pattern, the go-to Raglan, which is supposed to be mild, and I've used lots of different colours. To do this, you have to hold two strands together to give the mild effect. And my idea was for one of the colours all the way through to be the same colour, which was from Soc Una Troca. I bought it in Lidia Tee last year. And it's kind of a grey colour. It's called City Sky, but obviously you can't really see because it's mixed with others all the time. But if you can see, there's kind of a grey thread going all the way through. That is the Soc Una Troca. I really wanted to get a picture with Soc Una Troca in the at Love Yarn Madrid wearing this sweater, because it was mostly made with their yarns. But they were busy every time I went past their stand. They were busy. I'm not going to put this on properly. I just wanted to show you the little thumb holes in the sleeves because I love that. I think this is actually two different colours of Soc Una Troca. It's the base one, which was, I think, City Sky, and then there's another almost purpley one, which I think was the remains from my my shawl Rio de la Plata by Marinella Gallo. And you can see inside, my idea originally was to use lots of lighter colours, to use all the scraps that I've got. But I tried that, and I just didn't like the colours that were coming through. I didn't like the effect. So as the collar is folded anyway, I figured, well, I'll just leave it, switch to something else, and that will end up on the inside. So when I'm wearing it, you don't see it. And then the rest of them, this purple up here, not sure what that is. I know that the green and the kind of aqua are Beehive Yarns from the UK, from Manchester. She's great. And this purple down here, I think is Lolodidit, which Lolodidit is in the States, in Nevada. So that was a very special buy at one point, which I will probably never get to repeat because it's very expensive. But I do love her yarns, and her colours are just amazing. So hopefully one day I'll get some more Lolodidit. I don't know. Anyway, love it. And then we have the Enchanted Mesa, another Stephen West pattern, which I absolutely fell in love with the first time I saw it. because I just think the construction is amazing. You have these short rows that mean one shoulder is much further down, is much more dropped than the other. So this sleeve, well, that one's dropped actually. That ends up being up there a little bit. I don't know, it's a bit weird. But anyway, very interesting construction, very strange. And I saw so many different combinations of colours and stuff, and it was just beautiful. The only thing is that this pattern is not written for different sizes. The idea is that you check your gauge and you adjust your needle size or the yarn type, the yarn weight, in order to get the size that you need. And I didn't do that very well. I just went, no, I want to use these yarns that I've got, and I want to use this needle, and I just did it. So for ages, this was finished for like 2 years, and I didn't touch it, and I never put it on because it came out really small, because mainly it's done in a DK weight or higher, or like an Aran, a worsted, even chunky. If you do it in a chunky, it comes out really oversized and comfy, which I quite fancy doing at some point, but I don't have enough chunky yarns to do it in. But I decided to do it mostly in fingering. These ones are DK, but all of this is fingering, and this is fingering. The red is fingering. The red is Lolodidit again, and this is my perfect red. I absolutely love this colour. This is what, now it's gone all orangey. It's not that orangey. It's like a blood red, and it is just perfect. That is my favourite red colour, and that is what I was trying to find at Love Yarn Madrid, and I just couldn't find anything that was close to this red. This was from Lolodidit, and it's the best red I've ever found. And it went really far as well. I only had one skein, but look, it's done the whole collar here. It's done all of that sleeve there, all of this at the bottom, and some of this brioche rib as well. And then I still had more to do. What did I put it in? It's in my little mittens that I'm doing at the moment as well, and I've still got quite a lot going. It's still going. It was only one skein, but it's still going. It's amazing, and that's just the best red. I love it. So again, one day I will buy again from Lolodidit because I just love her colours. I really do. These ones, the blue and the purple up here, and the black in fact as well, are all Malabrigo. Rios, I think, is the DK one. I'm not sure. And then this was from Countess Ablaze, who was a hand dyer in Manchester, who I never managed to meet. I'm really sad. She was never in the shop when I went over there because I only got to go a couple of times. And I don't believe she's actually trading anymore. I've not been able to find her on Instagram for ages, but she had some brilliant colours and lots of different bases. It was great. So that's Countess Ablaze. So yeah, my little Enchanted Mesa, which kind of fits me now, but it's not quite long enough. It looks long enough there, but once you put it on, of course, it stretches up here and it ends up being quite short. And I have to keep pulling it down all the time. So I'm still debating what to do with this, whether to undo it and reuse the yarns, particularly that red, because I love the red so much, and it seems such a shame not to be able to actually wear it very often. I've worn it maybe 3 or 4 times, but really not very often. So I'm still debating whether to keep it as it is or undo it and do it again in different yarns and use those yarns for something else. I don't know, but I love it, and I love that pattern. I really do. And then, what else have I got? Those are my main kind of winter sweaters that will be going away soon. I also have this one. This was a present from my grandma before I was actually knitting any sweaters. And this is all, I think it's just acrylic, to be honest. And she never got into circular needles, so it's all pieced and then sewn together. And you can kind of see where she's seamed it. Lovely cables. She just loves doing cables. I really like the look of cables. I just can't really be bothered because it slows you down, because you have to use a different, well, you don't have to use a cable needle. There are ways of doing cables without using a cable needle, but I kind of don't trust myself to drop the stitches every 2 seconds. So I have to use a cable needle, and then it just slows you down and I get bored. So I don't usually do cables. I have done some, but not many. So that's my little sweater from my grandma, which again is quite oversized, but it makes it quite comfortable. It's good for kind of lounging around the house And of course, obviously, every time I put that on, I think of her. So that's nice. She also made a long cardigan for me, which I really wanted. She'd made one for my aunt and I absolutely loved it, and I wanted one for me. But she didn't, I don't know if she does gauge swatches. I don't know. But she didn't even ask what size I was or anything. She just kind of guessed and went, oh, that'll do. And then spent ages doing this cardigan, and it came out absolutely enormous. I'm going to show you now. And for ages I was like, well, I love it and thank you so much, but I really don't know what to do with it. I don't know when to wear it or anything. And then after a while, I realised that it's actually the perfect thing in the winters here in Spain when it's absolutely freezing. In the evening, you just wrap yourself in this, because I can wrap it around myself quite a lot, and it's just perfect. So let me get that for you. And this colour is beautiful as well. So this is the cardigan. Again, it was done in pieces, got really, really big sleeves, cables all down the front, and big pockets. But if I put it on and show you, it is enormous. As I say, I don't know if she just didn't check the size, or I don't know, she doesn't do a gauge swatch or anything, but look, I can put that in there and wrap it all the way around me. It's crazy. Even the back itself is just huge. But I do love the colour, and as I say, it is the perfect thing in the winter. It's even got cables on the pockets. It's great. So I do actually really love it, and every time I wear it I think of her and think, thank you. Because a lot of effort must have gone into that, making such a huge piece. I think also with wearing it, it's stretched out even more. So it was enormous to begin with, and now it's just ridiculous. But I love it. I love it anyway. I really do. Okay. From there, we've got a couple of things that are more spring-like that I can actually wear now. This one I've been wearing a lot the last couple of weeks. Colours don't look great there. It's actually much nicer. Lilac colour. Pinky lilac-y colour, and then the greens and the yellows and orange, and then pink down at the bottom. This is a SoFaded by Andrea Mowry, and all of the yarns in this are Olann, which is a brand in Ireland, I believe. And I love that she's got this little garter stitch detail just at the top of the sleeves, and then it just goes, the rest of it is all in stockinette. And this collar I really like because it has actually got a bit more of a dip. It goes down a bit more at the front, so this collar I really like. But again, I put it on and I feel like I've got too much fabric across the chest. And yes, I've lost weight since I made it, so it's partly going to be that. But even when I first did it, I still feel like I had more fabric across here. And you can see where I had the beginning of round marker on the front, which is quite annoying, which I thought would come out in the blocking. You can see there a really obvious line. And that's just where I had the beginning of round marker. I don't remember having used a particularly big marker that really stretched the stitches, but I must have done something like that because it's really quite noticeable, which is quite annoying. But otherwise, it's quite nice, and it's the perfect kind of spring jumper because it's fingering weight, so it's quite fine. So I've got that, and I've got my cropped top here from Corrado, and then I made a Lidia Tee just recently. I only did this a couple of weeks ago. It's another cropped thing. This is from Andoleando, Spain, whose patterns are both in Spanish and English because I translate them into English for her. And this is a beautiful little t-shirt. It's supposed to be longer than this. I did it quite cropped because I wanted to use wools that I had at home and I didn't have enough. And in the pattern it's all one colour, but I thought I just want to use up some of the things I've got left over. So I've got this lovely wool here. These two are from Laneum, which is a shop I found on Etsy, and I think she's in like the Czech Republic or somewhere. I'm not sure, but she had some beautiful colours. This was aubergine and curry, I think, and this was no, this would be aubergine speckled, and this was aubergine and curry, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, they look beautiful together. And then the purple, I think, is leftovers from the SoFaded from the Olann, possibly. Maybe not. It's not quite the same colour. In which case, I don't know what the purple is. Could be anything. I thought it was Olann. I don't know. Anyway, let me show you that on, because also the nice thing about this is that if it has two versions in the pattern for the back. On the back you have a little V-neck, and in the pattern she's giving you two options, so you can have this shorter V, which means it's then reversible. I can wear it with the V in the front or the V in the back, or there's a longer V which is only supposed to be worn in the back. So I did the shorter one so I can wear it both ways, and it's really cute. I really like it. So let me just put that on. And there we go. So that's with the V in the front, which I think is really cute. And I think this change of colour isn't too bad. I was a bit unsure about it at the time, but I think it's quite nice. I think it's quite cute. And I like where it sits. It's just on the waistline, so it's not too cropped. But I do want to have something underneath. I don't like showing off my belly. Don't like it. And then you can have it the other way, which I think also looks really cute. I love this little lace panel that just runs down the middle of it. So this is the way it's normally supposed to be worn, with this at the front and the V at the back. And as I say, there are two options in the pattern. You can have a longer V, which only goes at the back, but I quite like this one with the V at the front. I don't know, but I really like the lace as well. And I love the shoulders, and the construction on this was really interesting. I'd never done anything in this way, because you do the shoulders first and then you pick up stitches to do the front and the back from the shoulders. It's really interesting construction. I love it. I need to get some proper photos of this. It is on Ravelry, but the only photo on Ravelry is like an in progress photo where you've only got this. So I need to get some good photos, but I really love this top. And it's perfect for this weather where it's changing all the time and we don't know what to put on. Some things are too hot, the other things are too cold. I don't know. And then the last thing I wanted to show you, which unfortunately I'm really not very happy with, but it's my own fault. And I just can't be bothered to undo it and redo it. I should, really. I bought this sparkly acrylic yarn, very cheap, in the Chinos. Purple, because I love purple. This is coming out much darker hue on the computer than it actually is in real life. This is a much more pinky purple in person. But anyway, maybe it'll look different to you guys later. I don't know. But anyway, this is a cardigan all made in crochet. All the rest of the stuff I've shown you is knit, but this is crochet. And again, a really interesting construction, because you actually do it sideways. You start with your front panel and you just go in stripes that way. And I don't know, I liked the idea of the cardigan. I really like the style of it. I like this kind of folded collar and the fact that it's lacy. The sleeves are perfect. The only thing I don't like is that it's got pockets, which I decided to make a bit longer because I like to be able to fit big things like my big phone in it. And because I made them longer and they actually end up sitting at an angle, they don't sit down, they sit out a little bit. Unless I actually close this properly, you can see the pockets peeking through. It's really annoying. So yeah. And somehow I've managed to, I think I miscounted, I've managed to make one side longer than the other. The pocket's a little bit lower on this side than it is on that side. So I don't know, maybe I could just undo the pockets and make them smaller, or just do it without pockets. I don't know. The ribbing on the outside is quite nice. And you know, they're at a good height for me to be able to put my hands in, and when I've got my hands in my pockets, it's not too bad. But you can see a little bit there, look. So annoying. This is the coffee cardigan, I believe. Or cafe cardigan. I think it's a coffee cardigan. Which was a free pattern on her blog, but I don't remember the girl's name at the moment. I'll have to look it up for you. Again, it will be on Ravelry, but I don't remember at the moment. So yeah, I should wear this more often. It is actually quite nice. Maybe I should just undo those pockets because they're too big. But then I'll be annoyed that I can't fit things in the pockets. Decisions. This is one of the things I hate, is that I just start doubting things and then I just put something to one side and don't use it at all. and I really should. It really is quite nice, and actually this is probably perfect for this weather because it's lacy. It's not too hot. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. So those are all the things that I'm about to put away because it's getting too hot and I don't know what to do with them. I can't wear them anymore. Tell me how you store all of your sweaters and stuff, because I now have so many big sweaters. I never used to have big sweaters, but I now have so many big ones and they're all chunky that I can't actually leave them in the wardrobe and then get out all the summery stuff. I need to put them away somewhere, but they're so bulky that I don't know where or how to store them. I've got one of those big plastic tubs that I can fit most of them in, but I don't think they all fit. I don't know. I'll have to sort it out. But anyway, these are going away and spring stuff is coming out, and now I don't know what to make anymore because I want to just keep making sweaters. I love having hand knit sweaters, which I never had before, and now I've got a nice little collection going and I'm making more. I'm in the middle of doing a Daniela sweater by Ando Spain as well, which is going to be for the winter, but I wanted to do it now, so I'm doing it now. I had some nice wool to use up, so I'm doing that, and then I won't get to wear it for ages, but whatever. Now I need to start thinking about more summer tops. I'm going to redo the top Mariquilla by Antonio from Beagle Knits, which I did do once before and I loved it, but I messed up completely. I don't think I did the gauge swatch properly. I don't think I paid attention properly to where I was doing the increases, so one side ended up being longer than the other side or something. I don't know what I did. It has like a little collar here and then the front comes out like that. And I don't know, it kind of came down like this, so then it didn't cover the boobs properly. And then this side ended up being much longer than that side, so I had this kind of gap of extra fabric here that I didn't have on that side, and I could only wear it if I wore it with a bikini top and kind of tucked it in to the bikini top. So I undid it and decided to do it again, and I'm just starting it again now. But I looked at the gauge and it looks like I made the right size, so I don't know what I did. It is, however, designed with like 15 centimetres of positive ease, and maybe it's just that I don't want that much positive ease. So I'm going to go down a size anyway and pay more attention to the increases and do much more kind of trying it as I go. Maybe I'll have to do extra increases so that it goes wider earlier. I don't know. And then just playing down a little bit to the armhole. I'm not sure, but I'm going to redo that. And I want to find a kind of elegant top. I mean, I'm thinking of this. I really like this. Something like this that's short sleeve, quite elegant, maybe with some lace and stuff, that I could do in those sparkly yarns that I got from Love Yarn Madrid, that I got from Irish Fairy Tale Yarns, to have as a kind of going out top, but over the summer where it, you know, I don't want to have long sleeves or anything. Something that's simple, but I'm not going to get too cold in the evenings, and that looks nice for going out, because I don't have very many going out tops. I really don't. So I want to do that. So if you have any ideas for something like that, please let me know. If not, it's probably going to be this in sparkle, because I like sparkle. I don't know if I quite have enough because I can't remember how much this used, but I'm thinking if I do the shoulders in like the bluey black sparkle and the ribbing, all the ribbing in the blue black, and then I could do the main body in the purpley sparkle, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, give me your ideas. And as always, tell me your stories. Do you find that you have memories attached to different projects that you've made? The reason I wanted to talk about that, and actually I haven't done it very well, was because I was watching one of Patty Lyons' podcasts recently. Her Knit Live thing. Is it called Knit Live? I don't know. Anyway, she does these podcasts occasionally, and quite often she's interviewing somebody else. And they were talking about how memories are kind of woven into what you're knitting, and then when you put it on, you remember what you were doing at the time, which I do a little bit with some of these. This one, in fact, the SoFaded, reminds me of summer before last, when we were just about allowed to go out to bars and stuff again. You still had to wear masks in certain places, but you were allowed to go out to bars and things. And my friend had opened a bar in Granada in a really nice, quiet area with loads of like little squares around, lots of greenery, lots of flowers and trees and stuff. And it was just beautiful. And I spent many a weekend there knitting on my SoFaded in the sun at springtime. And it was just beautiful. So I remember that when I'm doing that. But anyway, they were talking on her podcast about how memories are kind of woven into what you're knitting, and you can remember what you were doing at the time, and how sometimes they worry if they're working on something in particular during a difficult moment. I think that one of them was talking about when their mum was in hospital, I think, and they were making something at the time, and they were really, really worried that because this was something that they wanted to make and they wanted to keep and use, and they were worried that by the end of it they weren't going to want to see it ever again because it was going to remind them of that horrible time when their mum was in hospital. And I remember Patty said that actually the opposite happened with something that she was doing, that she was worried all the time while she was making it that she wasn't going to want to use it, she wasn't going to want to see it again. And actually when it was done, she found that what it did was remind her of how that helped her through those times. It reminded her of the comfort that it gave her. So actually it didn't keep the bad memories as such. It helped remind her how this craft helps her, and how she got through that time. So it was actually kind of comforting, which I thought was quite nice. So I wanted to have a look at the things that I've got and think about what do these remind me of. And most of them, yeah, they are happy times. SoFaded is sitting in the sun in the summer. This one I didn't knit. That's my grandma gave it to me, but of course it reminds me of my grandma. The Enchanted Mesa reminds me a little bit of when I was in Marianella's podcast talking about the idea for this podcast, actually, because I was wearing this for the first time, and they'd been talking about it. As soon as they came in, they were like, "Oh, what is this sweater? What are you doing?" So yeah, that reminds me a lot of Nella and Nicole from Time Weaver. The go-to Raglan reminds me of Sibiateje because I was there buying the base wool from Soc Una Troca. It reminds me of Love Yarn Madrid because I wore it 2 days there and everyone was commenting on it wherever I went. It reminds me of Nella's podcast as well because people commented on it there too. So lots of good memories around that one. The chunky one, nothing in particular. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're not really paying attention and not really thinking about it. So this was probably just I was sitting at home knitting, watching something, and nothing particularly stuck. But I just love it. So if anything, it just makes me feel cozy and warm. The tourist sweater, the green one, as I said, reminds me of being at a friend's house, having chats with them when I finished the last sleeve, and all of their comments about, oh my god, how have you done that? And this one, well, just because it's my first sweater and I love it, and it reminds me of being in Manchester with my dad when I was working on it. So yeah, they do have some memories attached. Some are stronger than others. I think it really depends on what you're doing at the time. The cropped one that I was wearing before just reminds me of Corrado. I love Corrado. And talking to him a lot while we were doing it because it was the test knit, so I was talking about all the different things and trying to help him make any corrections that we needed to the pattern, and trying to work out what was going on with the sleeves, where I've got the triangle on the inside and it's supposed to be on the outside, and how did that work. So yeah, I mean, they've all got various memories with them. As I say, some are stronger than others. But I found it really interesting, that idea, that topic. So please let me know if you've experienced the same. Do you have things where you've got really strong memories and you always remember? Are there things that you don't want to use or to look at because they've got a strong memory that's perhaps negative? Or are there things that you appreciate more because of the memories behind them? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this matter. And as always, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and hope you liked it, and hope to see you soon. Bye.